In 2021, Phil Hawes, Charles Oliveira, I mean, your favorite fighter on the regional scene, they just pulled an M&M and they decided to absolutely go Platinum Blonde. And yeah, Oliveira did it a little bit earlier. For Laureano Staropoli, we're looking to just kind of follow the wave of success. You can see it on screen. Platinum Blonde Pepe is like a totally different mythical figure. And for this guy, yeah, it hasn't worked out his last couple of fights. We have Laureano Staropoli taking on Roman Dolidze. And Matt, we've talked about Roman Dolidze's credentials time and time again. FILA World Grappling Champion. He's an ADCC champion. You see it in his fights, the fact that this guy is going to want to take you down. He's going to want to grab your leg. He's going to want to take it home with him. And I don't know if he's going to eat it for dinner. I don't know what he's going to do. But lately training out of Extreme Couture, getting ready for his last number of fights. And the weird thing about Dolidze is, as credentialed of a grappler as he is, and as questionable of cardio as he might have, what does he do in his fights? Keeps his hands really low and strikes like he's a Muay Thai artist. And he will throw spinning kicks. He will throw spinning back fists. We saw that in his fight against Mr. Pasternak, Michael Pasternak to be specific, with WWFC about 2.5 years ago. And now, did Roman have a little bit of a USADA issue? And did it keep him out of his UFC debut a couple of times? Sure, but it happens. And listen, the wait was worth it. Same thing with Alexander Romanov. So far in the UFC, Dolidze's beaten Hadis Ibrahimov. Maybe not the best name. He's beaten John Allen by split. It was a close fight, but I had Dolidze in that one. And his last time out, that damn power jab, Matt, Trevin Giles. Giles was just able to outbox him. And for Dolidze, listen, he does the thing where he does the creepy Cheshire smile, or Cheshire cat smile. But this guy can get a little frustrated in the cage. Could be interesting against a very, very good striker in Laureano Staropoli.
I don't know if he's a very, very good striker. He's an alright striker. This is a weird fight because this fight's the first time in a very long time where I've asked myself, like, is size going to dictate who wins this fight? Because I really do think this is one of those fights where you're going to see a massive size difference between both athletes. Because, yes, Staropoli might be, like, he might be listed at the same height or maybe even an inch taller. He's the much smaller guy physically, though, when they do step into the cage. Roman Dolidze would have to cut off both arms to make 170 pounds. It would be impossible for him to ever make welterweight in his life. Whereas Staropoli, we're talking about it. Yes, he is a big welterweight. Don't get me wrong, but he can still make that weight. Whereas Dolidze, he was the guy who fought at 205 pounds.
Not that long ago. Surprised that he even made 185. To go into that Trevin Giles fight, I went in with a lot of trepidation. That was you gotta wait for question mark kicks because I want to see Dolidze make the weight. And was it a close fight? Not so much. Now, Laureano's coming in on short notice for this one. It was originally supposed to be Alessio Di Chirico, Roman Dolidze. So again, when you're getting ready for Di Chirico, well-rounded, owns his own gym out of Rome. He's kind of like Italy's Makwan Amirkhani with MA athletics or training, whatever it is. But in this fight, now you have the Argentinian in Pepe getting ready for this fight with the striking. Some similarities that you can draw out of Di Chirico, but that's pretty much where the buck ends in the fact that they strike.
Roman Dolidze, too, he's weird, because when I think of him, I know Joe Rogan used to always say, Dominic Cruz, if you saw a silhouette of him, you'd know it'd be him, just because the way he moves. Dolidze does move like one other MMA fighter, and Craig might know who I'm about to say, because I think I've made this reference once before. He moves like Fedor Emelianenko. It's weird. It's not the best comp because, listen, Fedor, in the grand scheme of things, is like MMA Mount Rushmore type material. And Dolidze, listen, he's 8-1. He has a lot to prove. But stylistically, they move the same way. They both have this weird kind of shuffling movement to the way that they move. They both carry their hands extremely low.
He can lunge.
And they both... With Dolidze, though, he throws everything into every punch that he throws, but the difference is that Dolidze doesn't have the absurd and really unique hand speed that Fedor Emelianenko did. Emelianenko, even now, has pretty good hand speed at his advanced age, whereas Dolidze, if they land, they're going to hurt, don't get me wrong. But it's the fact that all of his big shots don't land. I always think, and I always bring up Zabit when we talk about this, but Zabit's kind
Best wishers, just come back safe.
Oh, yeah, for sure, but just, when I think about Zabit, he throws a lot of really cool looking techniques. How many of them land? Not very many. It's cool to throw 720 spin kicks, but if you're not landing any of them, then I really don't care at the end of the day. With Delije, that's kind of his problem. You do bring up the kicks, you do bring up the spinning back fist. I'm going to bring up another comparison with Merab Dvalishvili. Roman Delije is a guy who does fall in love with some of those techniques, and he's not like Israel Adesanya, who he's throwing his strikes with like perfect technique, and he's going to make sure that the defense is just as good as the offense. He's a guy who will sacrifice defense in pursuit of more offense, and that's going to really cost him against guys at 185. Think about Uriah Hall, for instance. Uriah Hall is fighting Sean Strickland, a guy who's not even a ranked fighter right now. So Uriah Hall himself, let's just say, is a fringe-ranked fighter. Could you imagine if Roman Dolidze had to fight Uriah Hall? Ugh. Exactly. And I don't want to say amateurish striking, because with Dolidze, he does have the power that can really cover up a lot of the holes that he does have in some of his striking. But let's say Dolidze did fight a guy like Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall's going to let you throw all those windmill punches, and he's going to let you miss a lot and a lot and a lot. He's going to be comfortable with your misses, and he's going to make you pay with one shot. I do think that there's guys out there who could really make Roman Dolidze pay for his really, I'll just say undisciplined style, for lack of a better term. I just don't think Staropoli is going to be that guy. I do think on the feet, Laureano can offer Roman. He's going to throw those straight punches. He is going to stifle some of the attacks. But at the end of the day, if Dolidze is going to get is going to be searching for a takedown, I think he's going to be able to get it. I do think that his grappling's better. I do think that the size advantage is really going to play a big part in this fight. And for Dolidze, he didn't look great against Trevin Giles, but I do think this is a chance to get right back on the horse.
You look at it for Laureano, coming into the UFC, beat Hector Aldana, who we've already talked about on this card. He beat Thiago Alves about 2 years ago. Loses to Muslim Salikov. All right, it's going to happen. Lost to Tim Means in a fight where we were all over Laureano.
Tim Means looked good, though.
Tim Means looked pretty good in that one. But again, totally different fighters than Roman Dolidze.
And that's what I was going to say, too. Even if you want to bring up the Tim Means fight, like, oh, he lost to Tim Means, he's going to lose to Roman Dolidze. Tim Means technically is really, really good. Like, they're the opposite, kind of, because Tim Means, well, what's his technique? His technique's almost perfect. He throws really good boxing combinations. He can overwhelm his opponents with volume, whereas Dolidze, he's kind of just that, like, I'm going to aim from the hip and hope for the best. But if I do hit you with that aim from the hip, it is going to put you down. So for Staropoli, I don't think it's as easy of, oh, he got beaten by the smaller guy in his last fight, and that's why he's going to lose this fight. But I do think the size is going to play a major factor in this
And
fight.
it's a tricky fight for Dolidze. I mean, again, you got beaten by Trevin Giles with the striking, and if Staropoli just stick and move, pumps a jab out there, throws a few kicks, and doesn't leave it out there, then he should have success. But again, if you have a look at the odds for this one, Dolidze opened a plus 130 underdog. That line corrected itself automatically. He's minus 146 favorite for Staropoli. He opened a minus 130. He's a plus 120 at this point. If we have a look at the Topology votes, 1,308 votes. 90% Dolidze, 65% by decision. I have Georges Roman Dolidze in this fight. He is very much, and it's tough, my Adolfo Vieira in this division. And if I've said it, well, they're in the same division. But if I've said it once, I've said it twice. But I do have Dolidze in this fight. It brings me great trepidation to say that, but I've got him.
I wish Staropoli was a little bit taller. I wish he was a bit more of a baller. No? Listen, I do think if Staropoli was a little bit bigger, he would make this a much more competitive fight. But at the end of the day, I like the grappling of Dolidze, and I do really like the size advantage that he should have in the cage by Saturday. I also like Roman Dolidze.
Both going with Extreme Couture's Roman Dolidze to get the win. Can't wait for this fight. We have two big fights ahead of this, both of them at heavyweight. Stick around for those. Keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks, as we always say.
Let's get into it.